Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of On the Same Date, on the Same Page, Lore Dump with Friends. I'm off to a great start, already fucking up my title. Um,
I believe in you, bestie.
Thank you. Bringing back a very close friend of mine was literally my first guest on the last time I did a podcast, um, who called out me being trans like a year and a half in advance, but also a pretty decent sized name in the community, a tabletop writer, an actual play performer. They've been on multiple of my shows at this point because I just keep bringing them back because obviously I need to. But Amber, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber, although recently I have not been anywhere because, man, you ever, Paige, I'm sure you understand. You ever have like 30 something years of trauma and then you have one summer that just kind of breaks it all and you're like, fuck, I need to step away from everything? Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
No comment.
What do you want me to talk about?
uh, so I guess we'll just do. I know we've talked about this before, but I've been
Yeah.
asking everyone just from the start, just like what got you in the tabletop? How's that transition into like all the amount of? I mean, you're doing way more content now than last time we talked on podcast, so there's been a lot more in that period of time. So just like how you started into where you're at now. So
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't say this when I was laughing about being traumatized. But you can find me anywhere there's internet at the THE space SPACE Jamber JAMBER. I'm a TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, and streamer, the recipient of one Emmy, a Judge's Choice Emmy from
yes,
2024 for
very, very,
Chew.
very well deserved.
Thank you. And nominee for three other Ennies for Flabbergasted and Necrobiotic. I've written some other TTRPGs on my own, including probably my favorite and also my most simple, which is called Low Spell Slots.
Mhm.
You roll a d6 when you're having executive dysfunction and you don't know how to start, and you let the dice literally take control of your day. So yeah, I wrote that when a ex-partner of mine was in a really deep depression and
I
he needed some motivation.
I love that though because not. I usually go say that I have low spell slots instead of spoons because I feel like everyone uses that. So like I don't use spell slots. And let's be honest, most of the time I'm like a half caster anyway, so there's not a lot to begin with.
Yeah, I was using the spell slots moniker for a long time just because I was like, I like it because D&D. And then my current partner used a spoon
Hmm.
so much that I've like just been back to using spoons and like,
Yeah, I go
prefer
back and
spell
forth, but I
slots.
try to stick with spell slots when I can. I feel like spell slots,
Yeah.
especially if it's with other tabletop people, like there's so many ways you can use it. You can be like, "Oh, I'm like a half caster today," or I have a couple spell slots, buddy." Like it's so flexible. The thing.
I'm full barbarian dog.
I'm just full of rage.
But yeah, so going back, so I have a long and storied history with tabletop. I've been in and out of the hobby for oh my God, 12 years. Yeah, I've been in and out of the hobby since 2012. I played like my very first TTRPG was a Pokemon ripoff of 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 called um Pokemon Adventures. Fuck, it's been so long. I don't remember.
Yeah, you're talking about.
Um,
I looked up Pokemon tabletops before. I think I've seen that one.
yeah, it's like it hasn't been updated since we were playing.
Hmm.
Um, and it definitely was extremely country, and I did not understand it. I just was there to pretend to be, in pure Amber fashion, we were like breaking up fascist regimes in the Pokemon universe.
Tracks.
Yeah. So that's how I got started, but I left that table for personal safety reasons.
Hmm.
And then I left the hobby for a long time. And then in 2017, I was working at Geico, and I had a coworker who clocked me immediately as like the other Well, now I know I'm autistic, but then, I was just like, oh God, yeah, you're the other weird queer person in HR. Please come play
Yeah.
D&D with me.
I never had that experience in my line of work until my last firm, and then my staff was also the only other queer neurodivergent person, and I was like, oh, I actually get along with someone at work and can chat with them. This is wild.
I hate that this person also was like the egg breaker for being poly for me too, but it wasn't this person in particular that made me realize I was poly, but
Mm-hmm.
like their partners.
Gotcha. I love that for you.
Yeah. That person, he won't hear this. It's a piece of shit. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he came to me like one day, like during work, and he like stopped by my cube and he was like, "Hey, I'm running a D&D one shot for me and my partners, and like, we're gonna make latkes because it's, Hanukkah, and would you and your husband like to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I haven't played D&D ever, but let's go." Um, I actually remember like we booked we made my first D&D character on company time. I don't think I told you this last time. We booked a literal like two-person, it was a converted closet made into like a conference room,
Mm-hmm.
and we booked it for like an hour in HR to like make my first D&D
I love that so
character.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
My
fair, I always have incognito windows open when I'm in the office, like doing other I've literally been writing my working on my game the last week at work while I've been doing work in between stuff.
I mean, I I've
Hey,
done unspeakable things. Um, but that's probably why I'm currently unemployed. Anyway, it's not why I'm currently unemployed. Um, so Zach got me into D&D again. We were
mm-hmm.
there for 3 days at his house. A one shot turned into 3 days of D&D.
Yeah.
Um, and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere, Maryland. Um, but then my husband and I really loved it. Like even though it was like, oh my God, when is this gonna end? We loved the experience of playing D&D and but we just couldn't get a table together because that's the struggle everyone has, right?
Yeah.
Um, so then after that, we went to our local comic book store because they were having like one shots, and we just like rolled up a couple characters, played there. And then not too long after that happened was the pandemic. Um, so after like when the pandemic hit, I was like, suddenly everyone I know has time for D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I put together this Discord called the One Shot Club. It's still going, actually, 4 years later, which is crazy. Um, and it was just designed for the pure purpose of like, oh my God, all these people I know have all these like RPGs that they've never played. Let's like,
Mm-hmm.
distill them into one shots and play. And like we kept that up for a long time. Um, and um that's kind of how I got my start. It was like I was like just on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere, like promoting the One Shot Club, and like, I started writing, my own little like adventures for One Shot Club, and I was like writing my own little mini games. And so like when I was promoting the Discord on Twitter, I was also promoting my games. And um 2021 was I faced a severe personal trauma that I've talked about at length. I'm not going to bore people with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up being checked out of the hospital. Long story short, I ended up being checked out of the hospital. Um, and that same day, I was like tweeting and just being, talk. And for some reason, like my tweets that day were starting to gain traction. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even remember what it was. I mean, I think it was some like dumb Perry the Platypus joke on like um, remember when Sam Comerford had oh my God, I can see the fucking Twitter page. Role playing and role playing. Remember
Yeah.
when role playing would do like shitty D&D ideas?
I honestly don't remember that. I think that might have been
Fuck.
before I got into like the space because I started
That's
playing at the end of 2019. I don't think I got really into space though until like a few years later.
valid. Well, role playing really grew their presence because Sam would like just come up with these dumbass, like literal, like shitty D&D ideas. And
Hmm.
so mine was like Perry the Platypus is like some kind of artificer, rogue. And it blew up and I ended up getting like a ton of followers off of that. And here we are.
Awesome.
I know that was really long-winded. I haven't really been talking to anybody other than my husband and my partner for a month.
It's
So
okay. I mean, we don't have to do a podcast to talk, Amber. You have my number. You can call me anytime. Just saying.
I'm autistic. I don't know how to call people.
We also don't have to rush off after the podcast is over if you want to hang
That's
out more.
true.
It's fine.
That's fair.
But yeah, and then
Play Minecraft with
Amber,
me.
I'm not a Minecraft girly. I'll watch and talk with you while you play, but I'll parallel play with you. I'll play something for an hour with you before my
Hell
other
yeah.
stuff. But besides that point, I know at early episode I mentioned Catherine was at my first ever live play, but so was Amber. Amber was part of that telenovela that my my game became with the two Persephones and Cerberus. That was not what I expected of that game at all. It was great
No.
though.
Actually, someone hit me up recently
Mm.
for a City of Mist casting on a different channel, and I was like, nothing I do in City of Mist is gonna match what I did with Pluto.
Yeah,
And I had to be like, I'm so sorry, but I can't.
I don't honestly don't know how I got us to an end point in that game because it was so far off base that and that was when that was when I was very new to running still GMing like outside of like West Marches. I would used to have a more of a linear like fully mapped out thing back then. That wasn't before I started just saying fuck it and just improvising all my shit. So that was
Oh
very
yeah,
interesting for me, but it was a lot of fun. I still love playing Zach, even though he was an asshole.
I'm sorry.
Zach was great. It was so much fun.
I ruined a lot of things for you in 2022, and I'm really sorry about it.
It's okay. They were all good changes. It's fine. The egg would have cracked regardless eventually.
That's fair.
It was on the
That's
edge.
fair.
You
I'm
just
on
gave it a
the
little bump.
it cracks. Okay, sorry. Um, Echolalia. Yeah, no, I'm really glad because like you really have flourished like as a person, genuinely, like and being in yourself and living authentically since then. And I'm really, really proud to see you take all of the adversity and bullshit that life has been throwing at you over the past year and a half and like saying, no, fuck it, I'm Paige and I know who I am now. I own my power. So like I'm really proud of you.
Stop. You're gonna make me cry.
Good, bitch.
You can't make me cry on my podcast. That's transphobic. What the fuck?
I'm a Virgo. This is my season. I can do what I want.
Oh, God. I appreciate it though. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long year, but I think I'm at a point where everything's starting to turn around a lot, and I'm excited. I'm in a new
Ch-
place, new story, so yeah, everything's going
Chicago's
well.
gonna do great for you.
Chicago's
I'm really
fun.
happy.
Yeah, Chicago's been great so far already, and I haven't really done a ton yet because there's just so much here. So, which means you have to come visit.
We're planning. I
Good.
mean, like my so there's some bullshit baseball thing that happens between like the Cardinals and like the Royals and one of the
Hmm. Probably the
baseball teams that y'all have.
probably the
And
Cubs. I doubt
yeah,
it. I really doubt it's the White Sox. They suck.
well, the Cardinals have been sucking the past 2 years, so
Yeah, but the White Sox have always sucked.
okay. Baseball info dump. The White Sox arguably have one of the best City Connect jerseys that they've been releasing, and nobody talks about it enough.
I wouldn't know. I'm a Yankees fan and a Phillies fan, so both my teams are top of their
God,
division this year. So I'm ready for the playoffs.
you choose bad teams, the Yankees and the Phillies.
I've always been a Philly sports fan in general because
Well,
I started with
okay.
the Eagles and just flashed in the city. The Yankees, I still casually watch them. They're not my favorite of the two anymore, like they used to be. But I really liked them to begin with because of Jeter. I was a huge Derek Jeter fan
Oh
growing
my
up.
God, you're a masochist.
What do you mean? I've seen multiple championships for both of my teams, so I'm happy.
Listen, I grew up and still do well, okay. No, DC has teams. Charleston, no teams. None. I mean, our closest baseball team is Atlanta.
Hmm.
Um, and then Virginia Beach, nothing. The closest is the Nats, and the Nats suck. But now
Yeah,
we live in DC, and it's definitely the Nats, and the Nats suck.
yeah. I grew up in Ohio. All their sports teams suck. The only team that's good is
Mm.
Ohio State for college, and I'm a Michigan fan, so fuck Ohio State. So yeah, exactly.
You heard it here first, folks. Fuck
And
Ohio State.
yeah, there's a reason I left that fucking cesspool. But yeah, before we got off track, I guess so I know what all have you written at this point? I've known you've done Flabbergasted, I've known you've done Necrobiotics. I don't think I've ever like really asked you like all the stuff you've worked on. I have played Flabbergasted and it was fucking amazing. We turned
Yay!
it into a
Yeah,
Cthulhu-esque ending somehow. We did some ritual and summoned and ended the world. It was great.
that's how Flabbergasted's supposed to go. Is like you start Flabbergasted and you're like, I'm just here for a good time, and then who knows? You're flabbergasted by the end of it.
Yeah, it was like a love triangle based around my like three different people were trying to romance my character, and then
Who
I
isn't trying to
tricked them.
romance a character?
Shut up. And then I tricked them into doing a ritual at the end, and we just took over the world. It was great. It was a great ending.
Amazing. Hell yeah. Flabbergasted is like Flabbergasted and Necrobiotic. And well, okay, hold on. Those were like the big things I worked on, right? And
Hmm.
then I worked on Chew quite a bit at the beginning of this year. Um, and so like there's like the Chewniverse
Hmm.
expansion that I wrote like some settings for. I wrote like mechanics and stuff. But I had to end up like unfortunately because of my mental health and my just health in general taking a turn. um yeah, I had to like, I mean, I got a lot done, don't get me wrong. It's not like I like wrote one word on the project and said okay, I contributed. But yeah, I needed to prioritize my health first. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, those are like the Tuniverse. I Oh my God, I don't even know what I've done anymore.
Because you do so much. That's or you did at least before you started taking
Well,
breaks.
listen, when yeah, I had like a childhood like trauma flashback today that was like really severe, and I was just
That was
like,
me.
oh my
That
God,
was me last week. I get it. Wednesday and
fuck.
Thursday, I looked at old baby photos on Wednesday because I asked Jenny to grab them for me from my mom's placement so I would have them. And I went down a spiral, bestie. It was bad.
Sam, okay, like Sam slammed a chapstick. Like he just like had a chapstick in his hand and he slammed it like on the table, and he
Hmm.
wasn't even like mad or like, he just slammed it, and like instantly it just sent me back to like, oh my God, my dad's about to scream at me for 3 hours. It was bad.
Yeah, I feel you.
We can edit this out.
It is fine. I'm fine with all the trauma on the podcast. It's fine. What
But
tabletop nerd doesn't have trauma at this point? It's okay.
that's what
We
that's
all bond.
that's what motivates all of our characters. No, I've worked on I worked on uh Monstrous Beasts and How to Friend Them
Uh-huh.
by Aldrich Osiris. Um oh, I've done like a lot of promoting for like D&D specifically.
Hmm.
But recently I haven't. Like I got the new PHB and I like I got it and I said, "Thanks." I didn't post anything on the internet. I didn't post anywhere. I just said, "All right, cool. This is going on
I
my
really never
shelf."
tried to fuck with D&D from a professional standpoint of content, so I didn't even get one. But I honestly didn't care to get one either way. I rarely run D&D. Like I play in D&D occasionally, but in like
Right.
home games, but like I don't have the desire to run it a lot. It's very to be a very specific mood to run D&D.
I yeah, like I haven't even like really read inside, and I know like other people have like done these like really long in-depth like readings of
Hmm.
it, and I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to make it through the day.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen notes of it from people, and that's about it.
yeah,
I honestly don't care enough to learn all the changes. I know they nerfed paladins. I know they buffed monks and clerics, and that's all I know
added
so far.
guns.
Yeah, they added guns. Yeah, it's just a bunch of little changes.
Yeah. Um, but God, I'm trying to think of what else. I mostly, I don't know. Like I kind of stopped taking writing gigs. Like, oh yeah, that's why stopped taking because I was in that shitty job I was in,
Hmm. That's fair.
and yeah, and I was like, fuck. Um, but it doesn't matter. Uh, but yeah, like who knows what the future holds. You know, I'm going through right now and like reevaluating like what I want like
Hmm.
content creation and tabletop means to me like in my personal and like how can I prevent burnout in the future because I think like, you know, I've taken breaks here and there, but like this is my longest one. Um
No, that's fair.
and yeah. And like
I've taken a few breaks over the last year and a half. Where everything happened, but like
yeah.
I also threw myself into a lot of it when I wasn't on a break to try to do the opposite and stay busy and just ignore everything. So I can see
Same.
burnout from both ways. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think like when I got back I mean when I got back from Austin last year and I realized I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm tired." I took a break for like 3 months, but like this time I haven't said shit on social media period
Hmm.
except like my Instagram stories and occasional Facebook shit posting.
I mean,
Um
most of what I post on social media it goes to my close friends only on Instagram. And it's just a bunch of shit posting of either really kinky stuff, poly stuff, or like mental health shit.
and Gemini stuff. You post a lot of Gemini
And
stuff.
I get a lot of those pages, yeah. So it depends on what it is. If it's like, okay, this is tame, it goes in the normal story. If it's like, this is a call out, this is gonna be hidden. So it just depends.
Oh my God. Yeah, like like I did post this on my story the other day when I was like high at the Andrew Bird concert and I was like I'm not gonna put this on like my regular story. I put it on my close friends.
Yeah,
That's
I
just what I did.
rarely use my regular story. Most of the time it's just sharing stuff
Yeah.
other people does. Like most of my I'm trying to slowly move into threads because threads seems to be where most people have gravitated towards.
Yeah.
Um, but it seems kind of more random the way posts blow up on there. So I'm not really gonna try to figure it out. Honestly, I'll just post on there more than I post on Twitter because Twitter's gross.
The algorithm is doing like the algorithm on Threads is I feel like closer to what social media algorithms were way back in the day, you know, like
Mm,
2015, 2016, before it was like, you know, ribbed for her pleasure, you know? So I say that, but it's the first thing that came to mind.
yeah,
um,
I
you know, where
mean,
everything was targeted to you.
yeah, I don't know. Twitter, I feel like Twitter lately though has gotten to be every time I go on there, it's just a bunch of reposts or like random ass shared stuff. Like I rarely see anyone's actual content anymore in there. It's really weird.
It is weird when I see like I get Discord notifications from time to time of like people posting like, "Oh, I'm doing a Twitter giveaway." I'm like, between all the Russian bots and like angry maggots from like
Yeah.
Elon, no.
I
Mm-mm.
just started cross posting everywhere as much as I can. I don't post solely on Twitter anymore like I did a while back.
I'm actually thinking about like doing my knitting stuff again.
That'd
Not
be
for
cool.
content reasons, but just going back and like knitting on Twitch while I'm during this job search and just doing that. Um,
That'd be
maybe
cool.
knitting some dice bags and like giving them away on stream or something.
That'd be dope. You're gonna knit me a dice bag?
If you want, tell me what colors you want.
Okay, bet. That'd be dope.
Yeah,
I'll take a dice
yeah,
bag.
fuck yeah. But yeah, like, and then, I mean, really, part of me wants to like run games again. It's been so long since I've like run a series.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, I just wrapped up a series on High Shelf Collective. We were doing once a month uh Worldwide West. Oh my God, I can never fucking say this.
Worldwide Wrestling.
This one. Yes, Worldwide Wrestling. I want to say Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. We just finished that series, but I pitched this to Live from the Apocalypse a while ago, and I
Hmm.
just like have not been in the mental health space for it. But I want to run that game as a Ren Fair.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because jousting is wrestling,
I mean,
and
yeah,
wrestling is theater.
wrestling's just drag.
Yes, Jess
Like,
Ross. She
yeah,
said it
that was
best.
100%. I was like, yep, that tracks so much. As someone who's grown up on wrestling, 100%.
I'm trying to get my partner into drag through wrestling since like we watched an old WrestleMania oh my God, last week.
Yeah.
We watched a really old
Oh
WrestleMania
yeah,
last
like the
week.
older stuff back then was even more on point. Like they were so over the top. Like and now it's more since kayfabe's broken, it's more realistic the way wrestling is now. Like you there's a lot of bleed through of their in real life stuff into their characters. Like everyone knows Rhea Ripley's married, but yet she had a whole love storyline with Dominic Mysterio because people know how to separate it now because they don't care. It's just for fun. Like people understand that it's all fake. So
Yeah, but um it's not fake when I'm making Rhea Ripley scream. Sorry. No, I mean because I went to SmackDown last week.
I know. I'm jealous. You should have went to Raw though. Raw's where Rhea's at. You gotta go
They
to a Raw. So you gotta go
I
for it.
know, but they weren't filming Raw here. They were filming SmackDown. They
Mm.
didn't um and it was the day before my birthday, so I was like,
I mean,
fuck
that means
yeah.
you probably got to see Damage Control then that night. I'm assuming
No, we saw Cody Rhodes and
Kevin Owens. Kevin
Kevin
Owens.
Owens. We saw Drew McIntyre.
Okay,
Um,
makes sense.
and um, Drew McIntyre versus
Jay Uso.
Jay Uso. Yes, yeah, the yeet. Yes.
Yeah, Yeet. Yep.
We saw. Oh my God, the six woman, the six woman tag match. Oh my God. Okay. It was.
Was that Sonya Deville and her crew against that other team? I know that she's in a rivalry with like there's like a big rivalry between two groups right now. It's SmackDown, but I don't know who's all in it.
It was Naomi,
Oh, it was Naomi,
Jade,
Jade, and Bianca.
Bianca. Yeah,
Okay.
Bianca was acrobatic, and Bianca was like doing the majority of the wrestling during that
Oh, I
match.
mean, that's how it usually is when the three of them team up because Jade is still very fresh. Like she's really strong, but she's not polished at all. She botches a lot.
Mm.
And then Naomi is good, but she's not a technical wrestler. She's just
Oh,
more fast paced. So Bianca usually takes over when they're in a team, just because it makes more sense. Bianca is one of like the most polished women superstars they have in the whole company. So
they looked like the Powerpuff Girls out there, like legit. They had oh God, I think Bianca was in like a red wig, Jade was in like a black wig, and Naomi was in a blonde wig. Incredible. It
yeah,
was
they've been
amazing.
doing a lot of matching ups. They did one for the Olympics the other day too. They all did like a bunch of
Oh,
different Simone Biles outfits.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone get into wrestling. Stop playing tabletop games.
I do have
Get
Raw
into
recorded.
wrestling.
I have to go and watch it later. And I mean, I have it recorded because I really only pay attention to a couple of the segments right now, which
Hmm.
mostly is the Judgment Day stuff with Liv and all them. So,
Oh, Liv did a match
oh,
versus Kyrie Sane.
okay. Kairi Sane's part of Damage Control.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyrie was
I'm
amazing.
surprised Liv was on SmackDown. Was it a was it a live taping or was it like a house show?
So, okay. So they had like a couple of WWE speed matches at the beginning to like get the crowd warmed up. Then they filmed SmackDown for 2 hours. And then like the two main events were Liv and Kyrie Sane and Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre.
Gotcha. So they had like a couple dark events at the end.
Hmm.
That made sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about WWE Speed. Seems kind of dumb to be honest. Just seems like them trying to cash it on Twitter, but
I guess, or like TikTokifying. your matches, but also if you're trying, like, I get it in like a live setting when you're trying to like do something quickly to get the crowd, like,
It's just a new company trying to do new stuff because
mm.
they were bought out by TKO bought them or TKO formed because it's like they own UFC and WWE now, so they're all in like one
Oh,
thing. So that's why WWE's starting to have like the logos in the ring and stuff like UFC does because of that. So they're trying to get a lot more networky with that kind of stuff. But yeah,
gross.
but
Oh, LA Knight. We saw LA Knight too.
LA Knight,
He was
loved
great.
him.
Yeah.
Where was I gonna go? Oh, but we are halfway through the show, which
Sorry.
means it's time for our lore dump. So why don't you tell the audience and our listeners what you're gonna talk about?
I mean, technically, I just lore dumped a little bit about my WWE experience.
Yeah, a little bit. This is the more specific one, though. We're going to talk about this single topic and try not to ADHD you away from it the rest of the time.
No. Okay. Actually, let me pull up my Canva. I have a presentation
Are
for
you going
you.
to bring up what I think you're going to bring up?
I don't know what the fuck you think I'm bringing up.
If this is about the topic we talked about that you're going to do, then I think I've seen this presentation.
It might be, wait, continue with Google. It might be, um, where did this presentation go? Is this under the different, yeah. I am pulling up my Canva, ba-da-ba-ba. I'm filling up time. Do 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 do.
You are fine. Take your time, bestie.
Um, oh, Tenzin.
If this is what I think it is, I'm going to die.
Um,
Oh, great. First it's 100-degree weather, fajita and nets, and I just got a severe thunderstorm watch. Love Chicago trying to
fuck.
kill me these last 2 days.
Like last last week there was a day where it was like 70 degree. Like last Wednesday, it was like
Mm-hmm.
70 degrees all day long. It was so beautiful. So mad.
I'm ready for fall weather. I didn't want 100 degrees today or yesterday. Like, no.
Where are all of my fucking presentations? Oh, I could. Okay. Do you want Danny Phantom or do you want Rock of Love?
Isn't it the Brett Michaels reality show that was
Yeah, it
forever?
is.
I don't know if I watched that show forever ago. And it was so
Okay, then I'll
dumb.
do Danny Phantom.
Yeah, do Danny Phantom.
Okay. Wait, where is more? Where where can I share my screen? Oh, there it is, where it says share screen, Amber. Oh, host says disable participant screen sharing.
Oh, yeah, because this is, we are sharing our cameras on the podcast.
Oh,
So,
then no worries. I'll just go through my
yeah,
presentation.
just go
So
through it.
I
Just
I
send me the link on Discord. I'll follow along in my
I will do
background.
that. I
I
will
get
do
to see
that.
it. Sorry, audience. We'll put the Canva link in the description of the YouTube video for anyone who's interested. That's
Okay.
what we'll do.
So a long, long time ago on One Shot, on the One Shot Cord, I mean One Shot Discord, we were doing what we called quarterly reports,
Mm,
where every quarter we would get together and do a PowerPoint party.
yep,
And
I've seen
this
this.
this was my first presentation for the PowerPoint party. I need to update this because now I am 30 years old. Sorry, I am 33 years old and not 30. Um, but this presentation is called For the Love of a Ghost Boy: Why Danny Fenton Should Have Just Stayed with Valerie Gray. So for context, Danny Phantom is the main character, the titular Danny Phantom, from 2004's breakout hit, the follow-up to Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom by Butch Hartman. Um, the main conceit of the show is Danny Fenton. was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to view a world unseen. Um,
I'll sing the whole theme song and get this taken down.
that's why I'm speaking it and I'm not singing it. Um, but so yeah, this kid, his parents are like professional like ghost hunters, and they build a portal to the ghost world, and he accidentally fucking fries himself in this portal and becomes half ghost. His molecules get all rearranged, as we hear in the theme song. And so basically he can walk through walls, disappear, and fly, and he is much more unique than the other guys. He goes and fights crime and all of the ghosts that come through the portal, and is a teen superhero and is probably definitely trans.
100%.
Um, so he, as every, tween teen show, there are a litany of love interests. Um, and with and like Danny Fenton was like the first like Tumblr hot guy. You know how like Tumblr has like guys they latch on to?
Hmm.
Like Danny Fenton was like the first one. And so the premise of this presentation is all of the weirdest ships that the fandom has come up with. And the fandom, mind you, is spelt Phandom. Fandom. Um, and of course, I would have loved to see Danny get together with Valerie Gray, who would have given us a beautiful enemies to lovers trope. They had so much fucking chemistry throughout the entire show. She's just beautiful black woman voiced by Cree Summer, who is like, she faces adversity. She had a fall from grace. She used to be like this really like popular girl, and then like, a ghost interfered with like her dad's job and they lost everything, and so the popular kids are like really full of themselves, and they were like, oh, we can't hang out with a poor person. Anyway, all that to say, Valerie ends up becoming like a ghost hunter, and one of Danny's like biggest adversaries. But she doesn't know Danny is Danny Phantom, but they were like having this like little romance as humans, and then Danny was like, wait, I know Valerie is trying to kill me, but also, ooh, woo. Anyway,
I
sorry.
mean, a hot woman's trying to kill you. It's kind of hot.
It's extremely hot.
Yeah.
Um, so the fandom is gonna fandom, and they're gonna come up with weird um pairings
Mhm.
throughout the series, and they of course have paired Danny with some of the strangest things. So here's my top 10 ranking of the strangest pairings that came from the Danny Phantom fandom. Again, I was 12 when this show came out. Peak age for wanting to kiss a boy, feeling like an outsider, um, especially, and getting involved in internet stuff, you
Hmm.
know? Um, so yeah, I will say Butch Hartman, like I will go on the record and say Butch Hartman sucks. Butch
Yeah.
Hartman blows. He is a weird evangelical man. I will go on record saying that. Um, and like weird in the like we're gonna call Donald Trump weird. Like he's weird. Like he
Yeah.
wanted to build like his own like streaming service that was only gonna like air like Christian programming, but like he didn't tell anyone that it was gonna air Christian programming until he was ready to launch. It was weird. It was just really weird. Um,
Doesn't surprise me.
so
Nickelodeon in general back then is just fucked.
well, he got fired from Nickelodeon like a while ago. He left Nickelodeon. Like he and Nickelodeon like severed ties. That's why Butch is not working on the Fairly Odd Parents reboot.
Good.
Anyway, all that to say, this is why I believe in fucking up um Butch Hartman's canon because he sucks and I like to mess with his fun. Um, so fans have had their own ideas on who Danny should bone if ghosts have bones. The 10th worst, best, most cursed ship of all is one, and all of these ships have names.
So these are all
Like,
the top 10 worst ships in your
yes.
opinion, and we're starting from the back. Got it.
Yeah, we're starting from number 10. They all have names. This number 10 is Ghostly Prisoner. So, uh there is
I already hate it.
a yeah, right? There's a like ghost warden named Walker who Danny like fights in this
Wow.
episode called Prisoners of Love. Um and people ship a child, a literal child with a ghostly warden
Yeah.
who looks like Al Capone.
He does.
He's a skeleton wearing a trench coat and he's very tall. Um, Also, like Danny is on the record many times throughout this show, say all but saying ACAB. Like he hates
Yeah,
cops.
he really does.
It is like a thing throughout the show that he hates cops
He just hates
and
authority in general. Just even
he
not even
does.
cops, even at the school too.
Yeah, he hates authority. So why the fuck would he want to bone a cop? Also, ACAB. ACAB all day. Um, so I think like the power dynamic not great. I'm fine with like power dynamics if they were like both of age, but they are not.
Yeah.
And there's also no consent here because Walker is a cop, and I do not think Danny would enjoy being that kind of prisoner.
No, probably
Um,
not.
but Danny does start a Danny does start a prison riot in that episode,
Hmm.
and it's great, and we love that. Uh, so don't support that ship, but I do support that prison riot.
Fair enough.
Um, Number 9 is Haunting Desire. There is a genie ghost from that appears early in season 1. I just realized this picture is not canon.
I know. I read one of the lines in there and I just died.
Which
Uh,
one is it? Low key, I just want Desiree to keep exploiting weak men.
Truly, Danny doesn't deserve a thick lady like Desiree.
I was on one when I wrote this. Um, I think this was like early pandemic when I
Hmm.
wrote this, so like I was still like gracefully unhinged instead of like I've lost all hope. So
It's fair.
so Desiree is a genie ghost who appears whenever people are like, I wish I could XYZ.
Yeah.
So
But it's like really monkey paw with her wishes.
yeah, she's yes,
Yeah.
it's very that. Um So I'm not sure about the canon of this. Is she a genie? Is she a ghost? Is she the ghost of a genie? Is she
Yeah, they never really
a
explained it, honestly.
right? Like they went into like, oh, she was a concubine for like some ancient
I think
guy.
it's just a flip on Jasmine from Aladdin. I think that's what it is. I think it's just Nickelodeon being like, what if we made Jasmine's story fucked and made her the genie after it all ended? Because even her, she even kind of looks like Jasmine in like style of like clothes and stuff too. Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
think that's what it is. Now that I'm looking at this picture, I think it's definitely what it is.
I mean, I don't think Jasmine had that booba.
No, because it was early Disney, but yeah, that, Mitch Hartman apparently wanted her to have Booba. So,
I this is this is fan art page. This is fan art.
oh,
I
that
took
makes
this
more
from
sense.
DeviantArt.
Of course you did. That makes a lot
Uh,
more sense.
I don't think Butch Hartman would have drawn Booba because Booba is inappropriate and is tempting to men. Um, so my other thing is like Desiree also like says in the show, like every time she appears, it's like I um don't want a man to touch me unless I wish it. And so if she doesn't wish for Danny to touch her,
Honestly,
which again,
same.
right? I don't want a man to touch me unless I say okay. Hello? Women, however, carte
Yes.
blanche.
Yes, for sure. Women can whenever women can get it.
Yes. But also, ostensibly, she is a something thousand-year-old ghost, and Danny's 14.
Hmm.
And he does not deserve a thick lady like Desiree. And also, if she wishes for Danny to touch her or any man to touch her, then it's coercion and it's not truly consent, and that's icky. I don't like
Yeah,
that. But also, I just want her to keep exploiting weak men.
that is valid.
The next most cursed is called Pitch Pearl. And I know what you're thinking. Is this about masturbation?
Kind
Kinda.
of, yeah.
Wait, Paige, do you have a septum?
I do have a septum. I've had a septum. Literally within like a week or two of my breakup with Jenny, I got my hair dyed and got my septum pierced. Where have you
I've
been?
never seen it.
It's hard to
I've
see.
n-
It's hard to see on camera, though. To be fair, it doesn't always stand out.
Same.
Like you can only like,
Same.
notice it when I'm playing with it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Plus, my light in this place specifically sucks. I gotta get some better light
yeah.
in here. But yeah,
I just got my conch pierced, or I just got my helix. I'm sorry. I got my helix pierced over the weekend, and like you can't fucking see it on camera, but it's so cute. It's like a little
yeah,
guy. Ow.
looks good.
Yeah. Anyway, Pitch Pearl. It's Danny Fenton, the boy, paired with Danny Phantom, the ghost. I don't understand. Okay, I kind of understand. I under I understand how the mechanics work here because this is extreme lore dumping.
Hmm.
There is an episode where Danny's parents make like the Fenton dream catcher and they are able to separate like the ghost from the phantom. It's meant to like expunge ectoplasm from a living person. And so Danny as phantom accidentally flies through it and it separates the two and then he merges back together. And then there's a later episode where Danny's just like, "Oh, I wish I never had my powers. Oh, wait, I can use the Fenton Dreamcatcher and make this a reality." And so like they live like a day of just like Danny the boy and Danny the phantom. So like basically the moral of that story is just like no, they're two sides of the same boy. If you separate the ghost from the boy, then you don't have a ghost boy, and it requires some like really complicated Phantom Works objects. Like I think the separation would kill them because it's all about like I think there's something going on with like Danny's DNA structure now that he is Phantom that like
Yeah, I think it
requires
changed his DNA to such an extent, like ripping that apart would just destabilize them both.
right, exactly. So like no, we I want to keep my boy whole. Um, but also this is just masturbation with extra steps.
Yeah, it really is.
Next is see this is bad, but
Yeah,
they get a lot worse. This is Danny. It's called Sibling Secrets, and it's Danny and his sister Jazz, which I feel like I don't gotta tell you why.
yeah. This is not Alabama.
No, no, this
It's
show is
bad.
in Wisconsin. This show, no, yeah, this show takes
It's in
place in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, like it's extra weird because like my this is lore I actually haven't told anyone. My again, like it is very clear Danny Phantom was my first fandom. That's
hmm.
not a secret. All of my handles for a long time were like Jazz Fenton related.
I love that
I
for
was
you.
like I was like
I can see that.
Jazz Fenton 2, Jazz
You give
like
off jazz.
I
You give off jazz foot and energy.
I really do.
Love that for
I
you.
I love her. Um, my brother's keeper, like the season, like the mid-season finale of season one, when Jazz finds out that Danny is Phantom, like that image of her in the alleyway, like will forever be cemented in my brain. Anyway, sorry. Don't fuck your sister.
Yeah, please don't fuck your sister. We do not endorse fucking your sister here on this podcast.
And you know what we endorse even less? Is fucking your little sibling or your younger clone of yourself,
No,
which
not
is number 6.
my baby, the one that I played on our Monster Art game.
This is Sue Killer because she's a Mary Sue. Um,
Mhm.
or people think that Danny, Dani, is a Sue Killer, is a Mary Sue. It's Danny Phantom with Danny, Dani,
I don't know if I
who
would
is his clone.
I don't know if I would call her a Mary Sue though, because usually that implies like an OP character, and she was pretty fucked for a while.
She was, but she also had like a lot of plot armor that made no sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't call her super powerful though, because she had some issues too.
That's true. So for those who are listening or don't know, uh in season 3 there's this whole like subplot of Danny's like big mortal enemy making a clone of Danny because he ultimately wants to like have like Danny refuses to team up with him and blah, 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 blah. So Vlad Plasmius, who is Danny's nemesis, makes this clone and like has tried dozens of times to create all of these really grossly unstable Danny Phantom clones. The only one that is relatively stable is this girl form named Danny, Dani. Um, yeah, but she like can't use her powers for a long amount, like for a great amount of time. She's 12. She appears 12.
Hmm.
Um, and like her genetic structure is like really, really unstable. She goes out in this like blaze of glory where like Danny's about to be like super fucked, and then she just says, "I'm gonna use all the rest of my powers that I have," and she turns into like a puddle of goop, and it's really sad. Um, but yeah,
Why I
like,
retconned it for your one shot.
thank you. Actually, my whole series.
Honestly, yeah, it was a series.
Um,
It feels like a one shot because we didn't get to do enough. I just got trauma. I didn't get to fuck around a lot like I planned. Angela
I'm
made me
sorry.
cry, literally cry during that game on stream.
Angela's just good at that shit.
I was literally head on the desk sobbing. It was so intense. It was great though.
Um, why did everyone just try to contact me everywhere? But yeah, so this is bad. Don't fuck
Very
your
bad.
cousin. Don't fuck your cousin. Don't fuck your clone.
It's like
Don't
half
fuck.
incest, half masturbation.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. Like shippers are weird. Like ship who you want, but also like think about the
Yeah, I've read enough fan
repercussions for
fiction to
your
just
shipping.
see fucked up ships across any fandom. It's just weird.
Like, okay. I I am no stranger to reading Alexander Hamilton, Eliza Hamilton, and John Lawrence fanfic. I've read that shit and
Interesting.
enjoyed it. I was a big Hamilton fan for a long time. Um, but yeah, anyway. Number 5 is actually the canon ending to the show. Sorry to spoil. Danny ends up with his like best friend Sam,
Hmm.
the hot goth girl everyone loves. I fucking hated her.
See, I equally like him with her and Valerie, but my pairing was one that didn't happen on the show. I want Danny with Ember.
Correct opinion.
Ember is my favorite female character besides Danny with an I on the whole show.
Actually, I wanted Amber to end up with me.
Also fair. Why do you think I tried to romance Casper in the Monster Heart game? As soon as they said they were playing that.
Hell yeah. Um, So Amethyst Ocean is named after the colors of Sam and Danny's eyes.
Mm.
Sam has purple eyes, Danny has blue eyes. Yes. So I just think they're boring. I just think it's boring. It's not cursed. It's just boring. They had like a fake out make out in the episode that Amber came out
Hmm.
like premiered in. Um I think Best Friends to Lovers is like just so boring of a
It
trope.
depends on how you do it. It really does. Like some can be really good. It just really depends.
That's fair. But the way it happened in Danny Phantom was so like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we could see it from episode one. Like, great. Um, but like, I mean, Ben and Leslie from Parks and Rec started as like cute little
Hmm.
enemies, and then they became besties, and then they became lovers, and I loved that.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I'm just waiting for John Cena and The Rock to fuck. The ultimate enemies to lovers trope.
I don't think that one's gonna happen.
Damn it. Ass. Um, Number four is Haunted Past, which is
Hmm.
Danny with Dan Phantom. Dan Phantom being the dark future form of Danny Phantom. There's a movie called The Ultimate Enemy that came out in, I want to say, 2005.
Something like that.
That
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember videotaping it.
We're old.
I
God
recorded that
damn it.
shit. Um,
Mm.
I
Don't
was in
date us. We're the same age. How dare you?
I was in my either in eighth it was either
If
I
it
was
was
in eighth
05,
grade.
it would have been eighth or seventh for me around there.
I I was either at the end of eighth grade, the summer between eighth and ninth, or ninth.
Yeah, it would have either been the end of seventh or start of eighth for me because the way my birthday falls is at like the end of the year, end of the school year.
Oh, yeah.
I turned
My
18 on graduation from high school, like literally the same day as the ceremony.
my birthday was always either like 2 weeks after school started or the week
Hmm.
before school
That
started.
makes sense.
Yeah. So Dan Phantom is an adult, one, two, kind of out of the timeline.
Hmm.
So it just like I think just autistically, I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense because like he would have to do so many things in order to like, but also it's self age play.
Yeah,
Like
it's gross.
it's gross. Like again, it's masturbation with extra steps, which is
I'm
really
not big
conda.
on age play in general, but especially he's a
Yeah,
minor.
he's a minor, and you're an evil adult who literally like
Literally
Dan
went back in
Phantom.
time to fuck yourself.
Yeah, but also like in that dark timeline, Dan Phantom separates himself from like Danny Fenton, kills Danny Fenton, and then goes to commit murder.
Yeah.
Huh? People want to
Yeah.
ship that?
I'm honestly not surprised, but it's gross.
It's weird. I'm like,
I
you
mean,
know,
I'm big on reading like Harry Potter fan fiction. It's my way of taking the fandom away from the turf who wrote it. The amount of like Harry and Voldemort fan fiction parents that are out there are fucking wild to me. It's so disgusting. Or even him with Snape too. That's the other big popular
oh,
one. It's like, why?
I hated Hermione and Snape.
That
That
too.
was also
That's also
weirdly
very
common.
popular. That it's fucking gross.
Um, I know some
So bad.
I know someone who quoted a Hermione and Snape fan fiction in their wedding vows.
That's disturbing on so many levels. No.
So yeah.
I blame Alan Rickman for being such a great person that people love Snape, even though Snape the character is a fucking piece of shit.
Snape the character is a piece of shit, but Alan Rickman is so goddamn sexy that it doesn't matter.
That was like most of the people in the movies. All the people in the movies that played the villains were great. So no one gave the villains like, because no one read the most of the fandom didn't read the books. It's like by the end of it, when it was still popular, most of them were movie fandom people, and they only saw these actors' versions of these characters.
I mean, listen, Jason Isaacs in and out of Lucius Malfoy,
Yes, I've loved Jason
absolutely.
Isaac since The Patriot. So
Oh my god, I forgot he was in the
yeah,
Patriot.
he was the one who fucking murdered everybody in The Patriot. He was like the
I
main
only saw it
villain.
once.
Yeah, he was the main villain in that.
Damn, I damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, don't. Dan
Don't.
Phantom bad.
Yes, bad, bad.
I think I might have to rearrange my rankings a little bit more.
Yeah, I
But
think your
again,
two
I
and
did this
three.
three
I
years
think your
ago.
2 and 3 should swap.
Yeah, I think I was just like on one and I was just trying to go for humor, but now if I'm like actually looking at it with a critical lens,
Mm-hmm.
um, fuck it. I'll just go in order as it's ranked now. But
Okay.
I think now 3 years later, two and three should swap. So three currently, I have literature lovers, which is Mr. Lancer and Danny, Mr. Lancer being his English teacher.
Yep. More gross age
I
play and
I
power
mean,
control shit.
listen, when you're 14 or 15 and you have like the attractive teacher, we've we've all done it. I understand the inclination. I get it. But like to write fanfic where an balding adult played by Ron Perlman,
Yeah.
literal Hellboy, fucks a 14-year-old, no.
Yeah, it's bad. Just
No.
no. Also, really, Amber, the last thoughts. My fucking god.
uh
I hate it
I
here.
wrote I so on the slides I wrote like I bet when he comes he yells the perks of being a wallflower because Mr. Lancer instead of cursing just yells like book titles.
Yep.
Um
I hate it. I hate it so much.
um
I'm just gonna move on.
I did at least call out like Ron Perlman voices Mr. Lancer so that I get why people would find the voice hot at least. Um but yeah, don't mm-mm. We don't do
Yep.
that. Um, anyway, number two, Boxed Phantom, which is the box ghost, and Danny.
Beware! The
Yes! Beware!
greatest villain, actually, of Danny Phantom.
Listen, everyone says like the most cursed saying to come out of Danny Phantom is box lunch, which is the box ghost and the lunch
Yep.
lady's child. No, I think that's fine. It's a little
It
weird,
made
but like
sense.
it made sense. But I actually can't like shop at Box Lunch, like the Hot Topic spinoff, without thinking of Danny Phantom
Yeah.
because of it. But the box ghost is he's just a dock worker. Who's a ghost now and he handles boxes and he's pretty incompetent most of the time. Um I honestly I just think the box ghost is too wholesome to fuck. I kind of think of him as asexual just because he's a guy out here just trying to
Yeah.
do his job.
He's the comic relief of the show.
Yeah,
He's just a guy.
he's just a guy. Obviously the box ghost should be shipped, ha 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 ha, with
Uh,
boxes.
I mean, obviously,
Um,
yeah.
but I don't. I think if Danny were to like choose to hate fuck any of the ghosts, it would probably be like Kitty, Johnny 13's girlfriend,
That's what I was
and
gonna
they're of
say.
like the
That's
same
literally
age.
where my mind went. It's like, which ghost is his age? Yep, that would be it. 100%. I
um,
mean, came pretty close to it.
he really did. He really did. Um, but he should have fucked Valerie anyway.
Danny
And
fumbled a lot of people along the way.
yeah, he really did. But the most cursed is 100% Pompous Pep, which um
Yep.
is Vlad Plasmius,
The
Danny
young teen hero
Phantom's.
and the old villain. Yep. It's fucking gross.
Hmm.
It's every fucking
Hmm.
fandom.
Like, fans insist on making this underage Danny. I understand if you age Danny up, right? Like, fine, make him a legal adult, give him a functioning prefrontal cortex.
Mm.
I get it. But they insist on having like a 50 or 60
Yeah,
year
it's
old man.
gross.
Ugh, ugh.
He's a family
Um,
friend, so he's seen as an uncle. He literally sees Danny as his son because he's obsessed with Maddie. Um, and doesn't even want to kill Danny as a villain, like honestly, because it's always just more of like testing him type of thing. He thinks he has to teach him how to use his powers.
right,
It's such a weird
right.
dynamic to make that it's just very, very gross.
Well, like even in that like dark future that like created Dan Phantom, like
Mm.
when Jack and Maddie died in the Nasty Burger explosion,
Yeah,
like
he went to
Vlad
live
took
with them,
Danny
right?
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like Vlad views Danny as like the son he should have had because, so context, Vlad is in love with Maddie, which is Danny's mom. Maddie was like kind of flirting with Vlad when they were in college, but ended up with Jack Fenton, um, because of a similar ghost portal
Mm.
explosion that happened in college that turned Vlad into a half ghost. Um, and so Vlad views Jack as like getting undeservedly all of the things that he could have had in life, but Vlad is like this big, like, entrepreneur, owns a
Mm-hmm.
mansion, wants to buy this Packers, but the city of Green Bay won't let him. Um, because I don't know. Well, I'm not going to bore people with more football.
I think I'm
Um,
obligated to hate the Packers now living in Chicago, even though I'm an Eagles fan, but it is what it is.
I mean, when's the last time the Bears have been relevant?
I mean, neither one of them are relevant, to be honest.
The 80s.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Fuck, it was 40 years ago.
Yeah, 85 was when they had their big run.
Ugh, Christ. I Wow. My birth was closer to the last time the Bears were relevant
Yep.
than to now. I hate that.
That's
Um,
what I say to every Cowboys fan I ever run into. So I'm an Eagles fan. I'd be like, yeah, last time you guys were relevant, I was not born yet. At least my team has won the Super Bowl in the last like 10 years.
Shade.
It's great. They've won like what, I
Uh,
think 4 playoff games since I've been alive. I'm like, my team's going to the playoffs every fucking year and making it to the conference final. You're going in occasionally and then just losing. So
I know fuck all about football. I'm sorry.
you're
Um,
fine.
yeah, I only know about the Kansas City Chiefs because my husband's a Chiefs fan,
I get some
and
of the Chiefs stuff just because I'm an Eagles fan and Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey and everything. Yep, all that shit.
yeah, I don't follow football, and I definitely was did not follow the Chiefs after Travis. I mean, whoever's dating Taylor, I don't know.
Travis is dating
Anyway,
Taylor. Yeah.
uh, gross. Anyway, don't yeah, Vlad and Danny. No, thank you. Um, I listen. The only other ship that is valid in Danny Phantom that is not Valerie and Danny is the following: cream soup, which is the Fenton thermos, which is the like ghost catching device that Danny uses to catch the ghosts. And Danny and the Fenton thermos. It's a boy and his fleshlight, and it's masturbation with just one step.
Hmm.
And it's super
This has
valid
me
because when you're
thinking
14,
too much of the mechanics of how that would work.
you
That's
you
I
come,
know. Yep.
and then you use it to send the cum into the
That would be
ghost zone.
dangerous though, because if it goes to the right trajectory and like Kitty or someone is just going by.
That begs another question. Can human cum get ghosts pregnant?
I mean, I would think so.
But like the only half ghosts that we see in the show are like
I don't
the
think
ones.
I don't think Danny's cum would be fully human though. That's okay. I think we should take this part of the talk to after the podcast. We're already over the hour anyway, and we got through your
That's
ships,
fine.
so
We
we
got
could
through the
talk.
ships.
We talk about the after dark stuff. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yes.
yeah, why don't you tell everyone again where they can find you on the internet?
Oh God. Yeah, you can find me anywhere there's internet at the THE space SPACE Jamber JAM M as in mountain, B as in Bravo, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo. Um I don't know. Find me on Threads, find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok. I'm probably gonna do some knitting content or whatever, cozy crafting content here while I am job hunting. Um, yeah,
Awesome. But yeah,
and maybe slowly but surely get back into TTRPGs. I just need to like have that conversation with my therapist.
that is valid. But yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have Amber's socials in all the descriptions wherever the podcast is found, which is Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and on Twitch. And I will also throw this Canvas slide in on the YouTube description if you really want to follow along to the Canva as you listen, you can do so. Uh,
It's I have better
it's
ones.
great.
Next time I'm on here, I'll talk about the Flavor of Love cinematic universe and how something like 12 shows on VH1 were
Yeah,
started with one.
I watched all those regrettably, but that's another episode. Uh, but yeah, thanks for joining me again. So for my own podcast this time, it was great. I don't think
That'll
we
be
had any
great.
real chatter and stuff tonight, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I can sleep after this.
Yay, go sleep.
Okay, but love you, and we will see you
Love you.
guys next time.
Bye.